Hey y'all, welcome and good evening to today's episode of We Save with Abe. I'm so excited. Today we are going to be talking about thrift shopping and sustainability, which really go hand in hand when you think about it. Also trying to do a better job of making these episodes a little bit more concise. As much as we want to sit here and talk about Avery, how much your hair is grown, or Avery, your skin, it looks so great. I guess we have to start the episode, so let's get it popping. All right, y'all. For the 12 people who are subscribed to this channel who aren't related to me, you probably don't know me and you don't know how much I love thrifting. Thrifting is a huge part of my style, and I feel like it really helped me start to express myself and find my voice when I was in high school and I didn't know how to match. My mom tried to tell me but I didn't listen. And so, starting off my journey of thrift shopping was, it was very freeing and a very independent thing for me because, once I wanted to start buying my own clothes, I had to start using my own clothes money. And thrift shopping is very affordable if you didn't know. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in my Let's Talk About It episode that will be airing on January 25th. So stay tuned for that. Okay, guys, when it comes to the inspiration for this episode, it actually spawned from a conversation that I had with a friend of mine a few weeks ago about how I think that thrifting is the most sustainable thing that I do for our environment. I want to make that a more conscious thing, but in general, when you think about it, you're recycling clothes. Someone decides that they don't want an article of clothing anymore. They donate it to a thrift store. They sift through it. They select what they're going to put out on the floor. I come, I buy the clothes, and we just keep the cycle going. Instead of having to manufacture and produce brand new clothes, which is really bad for the environment. Who knew? Everybody but me, apparently. Unfortunately for me, some of my favorite places to shop outside of thrifting are like H&M and Zara, right? And unfortunately, those are two huge culprits of mass production of clothing that is also very, very poor quality. I read an awesome article that gave me a little bit more insight on thrifting and sustainability. And it comes from the blog called The Ithacan by Brianna Lasita. I will put the link for it in the description below. But when it comes to mass production, she kind of broke it down a little bit, literally. So she says that synthetic fibers, which are often used in modern clothing designs because they are cheap, require tons of energy as well as crude oils like petroleum. Not only are the gases from these oils polluting our atmosphere, but they are also toxic to breathe in and touch. These materials are easily broken down in the washing machine, ending up in our drinking water and making clothes less durable. Which is gross. That's disgusting. I read that and I was hurt. And it made me think about how much money I spend at these fast fashion retailers and how it's really not lucrative for me and my pockets or the environment. So I'm really challenging myself to thrift shop a little bit more, save some money, and help the environment. So I encourage you all to, look into it and do the same. Who knows? It can't hurt. Now it's time to, as I would like to call it, debunk the junk, okay? There are a lot of misconceptions about thrift shopping, and I really want to talk about some of the ones that I've heard. One of the biggest ones that I think that I've had conversations about are about the quality of clothing at the thrift store, which I think is just such an interesting misconception. People will say, oh, it's poor, it's bad quality, it's gross, somebody else wore it, whatever. At the end of the day, I have some articles of clothing that are more than 10 years old that look exactly how they did the day that I thrifted them. Because you got to think about it. Just because somebody donated an article of clothing doesn't mean that they were done using it in terms of it being worn out or old. Sometimes you get gifts, you don't wear them. Sometimes you gently wear something a few times and then you decide, this is taking up space in my closet. So you donate it. I benefit from that. I get to benefit. I get to buy that brand new jacket, essentially, for $4 because you decided to donate to the thrift store. You feel me? So I definitely am a firm believer that a lot of the articles of clothing that you can find at the thrift store when you really want to look are of good quality and can, stay with you for years to come if you treat them well, just like any other good article of clothing. I also read another blog that I want you all to look into. I will put the link for it in the description. It is called Style Wise by our friend Leah Wise, who used to work in the retail and thrifting industry for many years before she started her blog. And she gave me a little bit of insight about the type of clothes that thrift stores will even take when it comes to donations. They don't just put anything out on the floor. They're pretty selective as well, especially because for her and her experience, a lot of their clientele were the surrounding community, those who dealt with housing insecurity. A lot of their homeless population came in and had to make sure that their clothes were of quality. They have to last them if it's the winter time and they are living outside. And so I was just like, wow, like I never really thought of that as a reason to be so selective when it comes to what people donate. Some of that is trash. And you really got to think twice about if I'm going to donate this to my local Goodwill, is this trash or is this something that somebody else can actually use or would actually buy? Because when we give and donate a whole bunch of things that nobody would wear ever again and definitely wouldn't pay for, those thrift stores actually have to pay to have it hauled away. So that's just an extra expense for them when what they're doing is, ultimately trying to help the community with affordable clothing in the first place. So that was super duper insightful for me, and I hope it was helpful for you all as well. Another misconception about thrift shopping that I want to talk about is really who should utilize the thrift store as a resource. And this misconception really came from my very own mind. I was thrift shopping a few weeks ago wearing some unnecessarily expensive shoes, and it made me think whether or not it made sense for me to shop at the thrift store when I can afford not to. And there are some people who absolutely need this resource. So did a little bit of digging, and I came across Leah Wise's article in her Style Wise blog. And she very proudly read me for my filth. She says, and I quote, "This is a classist myth rather than a reality. By that, I mean that middle and upper class people have created this dichotomy as an exercise of their own self-guilt rather than based on knowledge of the industry." It was like she was talking directly to me. With her knowledge of the industry and her experience actually working in it, Leah was able to debunk this myth as well. She let me know most thrift stores actually get way more donations than they ever know what to do with. Their inventory is very large and there is almost always too much to go around, if anything. Another reason why thrift stores are pretty selective about the clothing that they get in and actually put out, because one, they want to make sure that the quality is good, but also because they have a lot of stuff to choose from. They get a lot of donations in, and I was very reassured to hear that, especially in bigger cities when you think about it. I live in Chicago. Seems like there are a billion people who live here and they all wear clothes. So with that being the case, more people, more donations. So like I said, super, super happy I can continue to thrift shop with a clear conscience. It's a really great way for me to express myself. I always think about it in the sense of like, it's this one piece, man. Like, you're never going to find this one piece anywhere else. So I would definitely encourage you all to get out there, start your thrifting journey. But also, if you have a good articles of clothing to donate, also donate. I'm kind of trying to do a give and take where I donate as much as I possibly can of the things that are of good quality that I don't wear anymore, that I don't give to my sister. And then also buying from the thrift store as well. So definitely get into it. If you all have some awesome thrift stories, I would like to hear them. If you guys have some favorite articles of clothing that you've thrifted, I also would like to know about them because I feel like sharing is caring, you know? As always, thank you all so much for joining me in this very special episode. I will actually see you all on January 25th, where I will take you on one of my thrifting excursions, and I am so excited. I cannot wait. I'm going to show you all some of my favorite pieces of clothing that I've thrifted over the last decade, literally, and take you to a few of my favorite places to shop in the Chicago area, because you feel me, we gotta preserve these pockets. It's a new year. We got stuff to pay for. I'm trying to pay off this student loan by the end of this year, Lord willing. So y'all bear with me. But if you like this episode, please please subscribe, please comment and let me know what you like, what you don't like. If you learned something new, put it down there. Like I said, I'm also going to put the links to the articles that I mentioned in this video in the description. Please read them. They're super insightful. I mean, I gave you all the good stuff, but they are super insightful in a lot of different areas. So read them and then meet me back here January 25th. We're going to go do some thrifting together. But until then, never forget. And the words of our good friend Anderson Paak, scared money don't make money, y'all. See y'all on the 25th.